Mic checker, chicka, chicka, chicka. It's not some, baby. Yeah, a one time, baby. What? For your mind, baby. Yeah, we gonna shine, baby. And what we do, we gonna grind, baby. Yeah, what? And this is another episode, of Swingers After Dark. And this is your host, not some, baby. Here we go. You know, the first thing that you should do when you look for a mentor is watch what they say. I didn't say listen to what they say. I said watch what they say. What do you mean by that now, son? That doesn't make sense. Yes, it does make sense. You have to watch what they say because a lot of people say things that don't match their lifestyle. It's like, fuck what they say, watch what they do. Because a lot of people's words don't reflect how they really think, how they really feel. And that's how you could get conned. That's how you could fall for the okie doke. You know, you got to make sure that people practice what they preach. Because they sure as hell not preaching what they practice. You know? And the best way to determine whether somebody's a worthy mentor is to watch them. See if their words match up with their ways and actions. See if their words match up with their actions. That's why I say watch what they say. It's an oxymoron, but you got to look at how people move. Because a lot of people, they have all this wisdom, but they're not taking heed to their wisdom. Like a lot of people are great teachers, but horrible students. And you got to make sure that, you know, the person who you're seeking wise counsel from, they're not leading you astray to the point where you put trust in that person to guide you, not necessarily lead you, but to guide you to where you want to go. But they lead you to a dead end where you trapped to the point of you're trapped. You got nowhere to go and you're in a predicament that you can't get out of. You feel me? They lead you off a cliff because it's the blind leading the blind. They take you off your path, off your journey because you put a lot of faith and trust into that person to the point where you become resentful, not only towards yourself, but towards them. And then you become an enemy. At first you was a fan, but now you're an enemy. And that's why I say, don't put anybody on a pedestal above you. You could get wisdom from somebody, you could get wise counsel from somebody, you could get guidance from somebody, but don't put them on a pedestal to the point where you think that they're perfect. None of us are perfect. We all gonna fuck up. We all gonna make mistakes. But making mistakes, you know, as long as that mistake is not fatal, mistakes are healthy because you can learn from your mistakes. You know, I always say, for every lesson, there's a blessing. So, you know, never put anybody on a pedestal to the point where it's hero worship, to the point where it's deity worship. You see this person as a god when this person is human, you know, and then you blindly follow this person and then you lose yourself in the midst of trying to find yourself, or not even trying, because try means to fail. You're striving to become the greatest version of who you want to be by finding yourself. You understand me? And you know, you can have a lot of mentors. You can have a lot of mentors. You don't need one mentor. It's like going to a restaurant. You don't have to order everything on the menu. You can order what you want. And you could discard whatever is not your cup of Henny. You feel me? It's like my podcast. Take me for an example. I don't expect people to agree with everything I say. You know, I don't expect anybody to agree with what I say. But if you do agree with everything that I say, kudos to you. One love to you. Shout out to you. But, you know, I don't expect people to agree with everything that I say. And, you know, ladies and gentlemen, you got to look out for those, whether they're content creators or everyday people. You got to look out for people who don't know how to agree to disagree. They're sociopaths. If you speak with somebody and they expect you to agree with everything that they tell you, stay away from them. They're sociopaths. You feel me? That's why I say, when you listen to my podcast, don't put me on a pedestal to the point where you resent me if I make a mistake or if I fuck up. Because then you become an enemy. You become resentful. And that's why I do not want fans, because fans are emotionally disturbed. Fan is short for fanatic, and I don't need fanatic. I don't need fanatics. I will appreciate your support, and you can even admire me, because I admire people for their tenacity, resilience. They got ambition, drive. I appreciate that. I admire that. But would I become a fan? Hell no. And I don't expect you to become my fan. I appreciate you listening to my podcast, playing my podcast episodes, and downloading my episodes, and even subscribing to my podcast. And shout out to everybody who bought my book, Fuck, F-U-C-K. Yes, you heard right, fuck. But when you look for a mentor, make sure that that person is level-headed. Because there's a lot of people, they sound good, but they're unhinged. They're touched. So see how they move. Because a lot of people are good talkers. They could talk that shit, but they don't walk it. You know what I'm saying? They mouth move 1,000 miles per hour, but they don't walk it how they talk it. Their lips are faster than they move. You understand me? So they're not as fast as how their lips move. So that's why I say, you got to pay attention to these charlatans. These charlatans. These charismatic figures. They say the right things, but they pieces of shit. And then it's like you thinking that you finally found a mentor, but they move with reckless abandonment. And then they drag you into their nonsense. You know what I'm saying? And it's like you doing things that contradicts your philosophies. But because you have a lot of faith, or you're fond of this particular person, you throw your morals, values, and principles out the window because you're thinking that this person is going to lead you to the promised land, when it's just another case of the blind leading the blind. You understand me? And that's why I tell people, don't put me on a pedestal. You feel me? Don't put me on a pedestal. Because everything that I say may work for you, or it may not work for you. And I always say this, if it's all about what I say that resonates. If what I say resonates, then take heed. If what I say makes a lot of sense, then internalize that and use that wisdom to your advantage. You understand me? Use that wisdom to your advantage without turning me into a guru. I'm not a fucking guru. I'm just a person with a microphone. I write books. I'm doing something that you can do yourself. Anybody could write a book. Anybody could go on a podcast. I'm not doing anything that's superhuman. I'm not showing fake humility. I'm not, being humble, because I'm never humble. Only slaves are humble, and I'm not a fucking slave. What I'm just saying is that, just take it or leave it. Take what works for you. Take what makes the most sense. Take what resonates with you and leave the rest. I'm a take it or leave it type of person. You understand me? And I hope that you learn from my own trials and tribulations and from my own fuck ups. So you wouldn't walk in my path. Everybody have their own path to walk. I'm just showing you my personal experiences and what I've learned during my path, so you wouldn't repeat the same mistakes, or You would take heed to what I suggest, to what I advise, so you wouldn't make those mistakes, so you could avoid pitfalls. You know, you could learn from your mistakes, or you could learn from the mistakes of others, so you wouldn't repeat those mistakes. You understand me? And that's the point of this podcast, besides me selling books. You know, it's really, I'm talking, I love to become a voice, because we're living in a society where, you know, you don't know who to trust. You don't know who to speak with. You don't know who to speak to. You don't know who you should confide in. And that's why, you know, I created this podcast, because you just want assurance. You just want a voice that will let you know that everything's going to be okay. And we all need that reassurance, so we could trudge forward. And when you're looking for a mentor, just make sure that the person got a good head on their shoulders. Good head on their shoulders. Damn, saying words with a SH in front is a bitch. Real talk. But anyway, you know, just watch how they move. See how they are. See how they speak with others. See how they treat others. See how they post. See what they talk about. You know, a lot of people say that, you know, social media is fake. Yes, it is fake for the most part. And people say, well, you know, this is just the internet. This is not me. Listen, what you post on the internet is an extension of you. Because even if you're trolling, what you're trolling about, what you're posting about. People could talk all that shit about, you know, this is just the internet. But it's like, okay, if it's just the internet, then why are you posting something that doesn't interest you? So even when somebody posts something in jest, it's something about that subject that intrigues them. So that's why I say you could take something as a grain of salt, but file it for later in the back of your mind. You know, and also when you choose a mentor, you know, don't become a groupie. Like do not become a groupie. Do not become in awe of that person to the point where you'll do anything what they tell you to do, to where they stop respecting you. You know, you don't have to believe everything that they say. You could, you know, take a little bit from here, take a little bit from there, and use it for your benefit. You know what I'm saying? Like when you listen to me, I'm sure you're saying, well, not son, you know, damn, not son, that's fucked up. That's a fucked up thing to say. But then you may hear something that make you say, yo, that's the truth. Or you may say, yo, I never thought about it like that. You know, so before I wrap this up, you know, when you choose a mentor, just make sure, you know, you don't have to pick everything on the menu. You don't have to believe everything that person says, or you don't have to hang on to every word. You know, internalize what makes the most sense to you and what resonates with you. You understand me? And watch what people do. Fuck what they say. Watch what you do. Because 85% of communication, or 85% of communication is body language. And somebody may be full of shit. You have a lot of good talkers. Like you have a lot of people who could talk themselves out of a fucking a riot squad. Or they could talk themselves out of a death squad. They could talk themselves out of some shit. But their movements don't match their lips. You feel me? They don't walk it like they talk it. So when you watch how people move, when you examine them, and when you see that their actions are the reflection of what they tell you, then that's a worthy mentor. You understand me? But don't lose yourself in the process. The purpose of a mentor is for them to add on. Mentorship is a supplement. It's not the full course meal. It's an add-on. You understand me? It's not to fill a void. It's to add on the void that's already filled. And on that note, this has been another episode of Swingers After Dark, and this is your host, Nasun, baby. Check out my website at www.nasunblaze.com. That's www.nahsunblaze.com. And check out my ebook, Fuck, F-U-C-K. That's Fuck, F-U-C-K. It's on Nook, Kindle, iBooks, Google Play. Go get it. Shoot me an email at swingpodcast@gmail.com. That's swingpodcast@gmail.com. Hit me up with any questions or concerns that you may have. Rate, share, subscribe, and comment on this podcast. Dig. And on that note, until next time, peace.